Hi, my name is Nicole Iverson, and this is my design project from my summer semester with SUNY Empire. So, when I started thinking about the topic of my design project, I realized I wanted to create something that would be useful for students and teachers. And I know that there are plenty of great resources for ELA, math, science, social studies. And because social emotional learning is relatively new for schools, I decided to focus on that. So I work in a school that is considered low income, and many of the students that I have worked with don't really have the emotional awareness or the vocabulary in order to express themselves with an emotional awareness for meaningful intentions. And when I started mapping out how I wanted this digital classroom to look, I made sure to reference back to the different points of research that I was doing while I was creating this. So throughout this, I ended up focusing on the castle framework to really build the overall shape of my classroom. And then on the other hand, when I went into the structure of the instructional materials, I realized I was relying more on what is the ADDIE model and backwards design in order to keep the flow of things from what the outcome will lead to. So, getting into the format of my classroom, it is broken down by week. There are 6 weeks in total. However, I'm aware that not all schools offer daily time to devote to social emotional learning. So this can be completed over as many days as you need it to be. Week 1 can last 2 weeks. It just really fits the instructor's time frame of what they're given within their classroom. So with this, I needed to make sure that I wasn't overloading each individual week. So I needed to make sure that what I was providing within a week was substantial, meaningful, and not overwhelming for either the student or for the teacher. Each week has a mix of posted materials versus assignments. So for kindergarten through second grade, materials could be printed off. So if I open up Match the Face to Feelings, these are both PDF files, and I did provide 2 different ones since I want this to be something that is useful for K through 5. Um, Grades 3 through 5 just has a little more challenge to it. They have the same idea. K2 is just identifying more basics and really having them understand what they're doing. All of the materials that are posted can be printed. So for kindergarten through second grade, if they need something more tangible for practice and it's easily available, whereas grades 3 through 5 may be a little more tech savvy and able to complete the digital work. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are. So it also is still available to be printed off for those grades as well. So each week has a different topic to it. So with week 1, you are focusing on what are emotions. Some kids, specifically in low income schools, don't understand that there's more emotions than just happy, sad, and mad. So this is really for them to understand that there are emotions that are deeper than the general ones, the basics that you hear about. Week 2 is being able to recognize them. So the students may be able to name them if they see a face card or seeing someone else that they know, they are able to recognize those emotions. But how are they able to recognize them for themselves? It's something that I've noticed a lot of kids can struggle with because they don't have that awareness. Week 3 moves into being able to name them. So naming emotions goes far beyond I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry. It's more about being able to tell how you understand that this is the emotion that best fits you currently as a person. Week 4 goes into managing those really big emotions. So the students, they are still kids, they're still learning to regulate themselves. So they do have big emotions. They do still have, lack of a better word, tantrums. So this is going to help them specifically. I think this is our biggest loaded content-wise. Moving into week 5, we focus on respecting other feelings. So that term empathy, I really wanted the kids to understand what this is. So I did include 2 different read alouds. Henry and Ella's Big Jar of Kindness and A Little Spot of Empathy. They're both well animated. The pictures can occasionally move. The authors, the people that read the book aloud do a great job at that. So, specifically, I know with my students that I work with, empathy is a very challenging subject and it's become a focus of my school. So, I really wanted to make sure that this was touched on in my social emotional learning, as I feel it's not only important for themselves as they understand their own emotions, they have to be able to understand other people's emotions in order to regulate themselves around those emotions and maybe even assist those peers regulate their emotions. And then our final week is this emotions book. So this is like the culminating project that the kids will do. They'll generate different books that they create. So if I open up the 3 through 5, this PDF is an instruction, so it gives a little more detail onto what needs to be included in the 3-5 book. When it's opened up, it is a blank Google Slides template. So the kids have free reign to create it how they want it to look. They do need to include the set of rules that I've applied, but they can decorate it. They can make it any color. They can use any theme. They can use pictures. They can use little videos if they want. It's really up to them. When we look at K2, I suggest that K2 becomes printed. So the K2 book is laid out, broken down by emotion. With having it printed, the students are able to draw through it. They can still create and decorate. Color is all they want, other than this front slide with the blue box that you see here. The slides are blank. They're white. There's sentence starters and boxes where they can color. But for easy use, I do suggest that K2 students have it be printed and they finish a hard copy of it. So throughout these weeks, each week the students complete a journal, can be printed or a Google slide. And again, it's a blank slide. The kids fill out however they feel that week, and it's based off of their emotions, an emotion they felt that day, that week, something really big that happened. It's really up to them. But yeah, this is my digital learning project. I hope you enjoy.